So I was thinking today I want us to talk about a very interesting subject that has once plagued South Africa for many years, right? I want us to talk about the Guptas or the Zuptas. You remember the story about the Guptas, how it all began and became something that is very deep. And every corner, the newspapers were writing the Zupta this, the Zupta that, the Gupta this, the Gupta that, right? What really happened with the story of the Guptas? We know that there was a commission of inquiry that our government spent more than 1 billion rands just for them to search and to seek for the truth, right? And we know that ministers were called and there was a lot of things that was said, right? I don't want to divert because I want to say a lot of things, but let me just stick to the story, right? And finally, as ministers were coming and they were testifying, giving their side of the story about how did they know about the Guptas and the role that the Guptas played, right? So finally, Jacob Zuma, who was the target at that time, because this entire commission was about him and how he used to maybe handpick ministers and select ministers to some serious important portfolios, right? So they wanted to know who are the people that he worked with and what approach did he use in terms of electing ministers to key ministerial position, right? So Jacob Zuma came in there and was cross-examined. He gave his side of the story on how he knew the Guptas, right? But there's something that he said that shocked me, right? I knew this long ago, before he even went to the commission. But for him going to the commission, it was just a confirmation of what I knew. So what is it that exactly I knew? This is where I want our discussion to be, you and I. You can disagree if you want to disagree. You can agree if you want to agree. If you know that this gives you chest pains or you have some disease or something in that manner, you will need to take your medication for what I'm about to say, right? Because what I'm about to say may change your mind on how you view this Gupta-Zupta relation thing, right? So let us just get into it. What did Jacob Zuma say? Let us start here.
He's actually working with them in a publication called The Thinker. He was editor. I think at the end, that business ended up with him. Nobody says anything about that. Nobody says anything about the relationship between them and Mandela, between them and Mbeki.
So the former president Jacob Zuma says something very interesting. I want us to take note. He says that now people are making the Guptas to be his problem. Their focus is on his relations, on how he worked with the Guptas. But no one goes back and check who introduced him to the Guptas. I don't want to say much on what he said because you heard him. But I want to ask some questions. So the questions I will ask will give answers, right? Now the first question is, how did the Guptas work with the ANC, right? Because I heard that newspapers, the medias were pushing the story to say that it is the Zupta, the Zupta, the Zupta. But today, allow me to say that it was not the Zupta, it was the African National Gupta, right? Because the Guptas were not affiliated only with the individuals, but they were affiliated with the entire organization, meaning they have captured the entire constituency of the ANC, right? So why do I say that? Did Nelson Mandela know the Guptas? The answer is yes, he did, right? So did former President Thabo Mbeki know the Guptas? Yes, he did, right? So before I continue, let me show you a video of Nelson Mandela, a man speaking, right? The man speaking about the Guptas. It is, believe me, let us watch this video.
I wish to congratulate the Gupta family and Mr. Anil Kapoor for producing this film that shows a new perspective of the Mahatma. I wish you all the very best for the success of the film. I thank you.
So you've seen Nelson Mandela giving some credit to the Guptas. So he was working with them, right? Did former President Thabo Mbeki work with the Guptas? Let us just check if indeed former President Thabo Mbeki did work with them. Let us watch here.
3 good things happened to me today. And I think that the day will remain the best day for the year 2007 for me. The first thing was that I met the mother of the Gupta sons for the first time, Mrs. Gupta.
I'm sure you've heard loud and clear former President Thabo Mbeki thanking the Guptas of bringing their mothers so that they will meet the president, right? It means their relation was more deep, that of a brotherhood, right? He even met their mother. That was so deep to do, right? So let us continue. The question is, did former President Kgalema Motlanthe, did he know about the Guptas? Did he work with the Guptas? Right? You see for yourself, right? Let us just continue. Did Cyril Ramaphosa know, or did he work with the Guptas? Yes, he did. You can tell for yourself, right? Let us just continue. Patrice Motsepe, did he know about the Guptas? We know that Patrice Motsepe, for the longest time, he was part of the ANC, not only with the leadership of the ANC. Did he know about the Guptas? Yes, he did.
And
as a friend.
No, he's a friend. He's a meetings all. He's a many cabinet minister in that. Mr. Tokyo himself was the part of that. Mr. Patrice was a part of that. So many of the ministers, many, I can take anybody names on this thing, but it's not going to help to anything. And every Sunday, even in the media also, Koos Peggar also part of that, we all sit together and discuss the country and what best we can do for the country.
Yes, he did. Then let us move to Helen Zille. Did Helen Zille know about the Guptas? Because they were busy now accusing Jacob Zuma to say that he sold out, he has sold the state to these Indian brothers. Did Helen Zille know about the Guptas? Yes, she did, right? Even the Guptas were funding the DA, Democratic Alliance. They were funding it. So they are doing what the Nicky Oppenheimers and Johan Rupert are doing, funding Rise Mzansi, funding Action SA, funding the DA. So they are funding these, funding the IFP. They are funding these political parties. They are doing the same job as what the Guptas were doing, funding opposition parties, including the ANC. Right? So let us continue. Did Trevor Emmanuel, remember Trevor Emmanuel? Did he know about the Guptas? Yes, he did. So how come that Matthew Posa, who was also there, says that he never knew about the Guptas? Let us hear Matthew Posa here.
With the Guptas getting involved and so on.
I didn't even know how they looked like until he showed me the face of the Guptas. I was just being elected at that conference as treasurer. You know, the challenge for the treasurer of the ANC in December is that you've got your monthly expenses and you've got January 8th expenses. So, and when I walk in there, I don't want to talk much about the finances, but they didn't look very impressive. That's how I would want to put it. So he said to me, follow me. I follow him. And I did not know where I'm following him to. And he led me to this big gate, wooden gate. They opened like a palace. And I walked in with him, and I found this gentleman, Atu, Tony, and his other brothers. I had never seen them before in my life.
So one thing that I will conclude to say is that politicians, all of them are liars. They will always say something that will protect themselves and their skin and their political career. I must mention that, right? So politicians are not to be trusted, right? Because Matthew Posa is denying them, but these were working with the leaders, all of the leaders of the ANC. Not only that, the Guptas held membership cards of the ANC. The Guptas were attending conferences as delegates, right? They were there wearing ANC t-shirts. They were there carrying that VIP tag, right? So for the whole ANC leader going around podcast, going around YouTube, going around media houses and claiming that it never knew about the Guptas, that's a lie. That's a lie. That is not true. So now let us talk about this, because the CIC Julius Malema has many things to do about the Guptas getting exposed to say that they are working with government, right? So what has happened? After the formation of the EFF, when now the members of the EFF, the leaders of the EFF were parts of parliament, they were MPs there, then Julius Malema dropped this bombshell and said that we know that your president, you've been captured by the Guptas and you are working for them. You are a Gupta boy. Now you are Zupta. And they were shouting, they were hitting the tables, shouting Zupta, Zupta, Zupta. You know what's my problem? My problem is not that they were exposed, but the timing of how they were exposed and when, right? Why I say this? Because the CIC, when he was the president of the Youth League, he never ever exposed the Guptas. You know why? Because he himself, he was benefiting from the Guptas. You remember at the time the CIC used to drive big cars, Range Rovers. He used to have houses in Sentin. The time he was drinking Henneken, right? So now the CIC, boom, tables have changed. The man is fired, right? And you know that never settled well with the CIC. He's still even angry today. That anger has no remedy. When he speaks about Jacob Zuma, he just, you can say that it is out of personal feelings and emotions that he was not happy about what happened to him when he was there in the ANC, when he was expelled in the ANC, right? It just confirmed that what Jacob Zuma used to say, it is cold outside the ANC. It just confirmed that. So when Julius Malema now wanted Malema's revenge. Now remember he's from the ANC. He needs to come there and expose how the ANC is making partners, how the ANC is working with this Gupta family. And he dropped the bombshell and the nuclear bomb hit the bar. And now the DA, now they were up in arms. Guess what? They are funded by the same party. They know about them. They know about the power they possess, right? And this thing went even escalated, right? So some of the MPs saw that Jacob Zuma is losing grip, is losing power. And they came, the likes of ABC Jonas, the likes of the late Private Gordon. ABC Jonas said something very powerful, which I disbelieve, by the way. If you believed it, it's fine. He said that the Guptas offered him more than 600 million for him to become the Minister of Finance. I was like, what? For me, you don't even have to offer me money for that position. Just give me the portfolio, Baba. I will run. I will be giving the budget, right? But he says that the Guptas offered him more than 600 million. I would have taken even that package and became rich forever. Today, I would be one of the billionaires. With that money, this is a good kickstart, a good one. 600 million. And he says he refused it. Right? And at the time, I remember well, he was the deputy, minister of the treasurer. Right? So meaning the man wanted to be the minister of finance. But now he says that he was offered this money. And now rumors, gossip Everything was there. They went to the state capture, and other people were exposed on how they stole the Busasa money, which is President Ramaphosa, his son Andile Ramaphosa, and Gwede Mantashe, how he used money to upgrade the security on his house, and that Busisi Mkhwebane exposed that, and Angela agrees, exposed that Cyril Ramaphosa got more than $500,000 for the CR17 fund. And Andile Ramaphosa also benefited illegally. So that was the state capture inquiry. More than 1 billion was spent for gossip. And Zondo comes, finally gives a recommendation. He excludes Gwede Mantashe, he excludes President Cyril Ramaphosa, and he puts there other people that he knows that they are not his camp. Right? We just spent money for nothing. No one now is taken to account. No one. President Ramaphosa has just put this thing somewhere in Pala under the shelf there. It is that's the way it is now as we speak, because no one will implement those things. They know what these people were working. They were working with us, right? So what does IJ Gupta say about this entire thing, right? Does he admit that they were working with the government? Let us watch here.
Have you ever sat down with members of cabinet in a meeting? You say you're not a lobbyist, so you shouldn't actually be sitting with anybody. Have you ever, you and your brothers, sat with any members of cabinet to discuss anything?
Many times.
What do you talk about?
So many things. It is not now, Peter.
Yeah.
As I see that again, that first time ever I sit in maybe 10 years before,
Yeah.
when that the previous president put a one council, let's call it a president consultative council forum or something. It was every first Sunday of the month. We used to sit in a presidential guest house. And
As a friend?
No, he's a friend. He's a meetings all. He's a many cabinet minister in that. Mr. Tokyo himself was a part of that. Mr. Patrice was a part of that. So many of the minister, many, I can take anybody names on this thing, but it's not going to help to anything. And every Sunday, even in the media also, Kuas Becker also part of that, we all sit together and discuss the country and what best we can do for the country.
So you had a man speaking, confessing. What more evidence do you know? This is what I take. This is what I've learned. The Guptas captured the entire system of the ANC. And the Guptas were a business people, right? And the Guptas fought with the Stellenbosch mafias. Because the Guptas were using, they were smart, they outsmart them. They were using government to secure government deal, government's contracts, right? And those ones in Stellenbosch, the white monopoly capital that runs South Africa, saw this as being not fair, right? And the CIC Julius Malema says something that provoked the anger of the mafias. And he says this.
So the Guptas took business of white people here and there, and the white people were not happy with them. And they made a terrible mistake of wanting to take a Fireblade private airport from the Oppenheimers, because Malusi gave it to Oppenheimers. Then Zuma changed his mind and said no.
So the Waterkloof Airport, that is where we saw the Guptas bringing the entire family with a plane, a private plane, coming to the wedding, and they landed there and they were escorted by state police. That's how powerful they are. State police. And the nation was very angry because the media reported about this. They said, who are these? They've captured the state. Right? But Julius Malema says something very important to say that no, the people who were angry at the Guptas are the Oppenheimers and your entrepreneurs. Because Jacob Zuma used his power to give them a private airport that was owned by the Oppenheimers. And that is when they went after them. They were angry at them, right? And they used the media to push the propaganda. and to make this thing as if it was a Zuma problem. It was not a Zuma problem, it was the ANC problem. Even Cyril Ramaphosa, if the Guptas were still here, he would have been working with them. It was for a lifetime. As long as the Guptas exist, it was a partnership of a lifetime, right? So, what do you think about the story? Did you learn something new? Was this the same old story, or there was a different element from what you hear in the media, right? Please don't forget, you can leave your subscription and you can comment on the section below, and you can press the super thanks button, and to support us that we grow bigger than where we are.